Shoot! Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. If you're after a new slimline wallet, then I could have the one for you today. We are here to look at the GRIP6 wallet. Now a few months back when they got in touch and asked me if I'd like to test out one of their GRIP6 belts, which I'm still wearing today, still really like. I'll leave a link, here somewhere so that you can see that. While I was on the website, I also noticed that they do these minimalist aluminium, made in the US. There's a lot of things going for these minimalist style wallets, and I mentioned it to them that Moorlander EDC is the place to come here on YouTube if you want high value quality content about wallets. And they said they'd love to send me one, so I've been testing this out for a while now, and yeah, I'll give you my thoughts today. Now what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around as I usually do. We'll turn the camera around so that we can take a closer look. Whilst I'm doing that, if you do enjoy this content at any point, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe, and hey, if this is any help to you, check out that little thank you button down there as well. But for now, let's take a closer look at the GRIP6 wallet. So here we have the GRIP6 wallet. Now, as we usually do, we'll go through some measurements, some materials, and then we'll actually have a look at the features of it. But I think it's useful to point something out at the beginning here. So there's actually a few things to look at here. The first one is the wallet, which is contained within this leather jacket. So when you go to purchase one of these, there are a few different configurations that you can have. You can just purchase the leather wallet by itself. Now, I am going to take this jacket off of here, mainly because the measurements that we give are the measurements without the jacket. So when you put the jacket on here, as far as your inches, you're probably going to add an extra, I'm terrible with inches, but let's say 1/4 of an inch on the left, 1/4 of an inch on the bottom, and maybe another 6 1/8, 10/11 of a decimal on for the thickness. I don't know. So you can either purchase the wallet as it is here, which I guess let's call this the naked version. When you have the naked version that you have here, which is just the normal GRIP6 wallets, and then there are two versions of this as well, and this is discounting all different colors. There are several different colors that you can have, but mainly it's around the bit that actuates it here, and then where this connects here up at the top, there is also an additional loop that you can put your finger through so that you can push it forward if you choose to, rather than just pressing it here at the bottom. And then depending on which version of that you then have, you can then decide if you want to have the leather jacket added to that as well. And there are another 3 or 4 different versions of, or at least colors, I think 3 or 4, 2 or 3 different colors that you can have of the of this leather jacket. Now, I know I said we're going to go into some of the measurements, but I'll just jump on this bit first. But this is made for some really nice whole grain leather. You can see the grain in there, which is really nice. When you come to the pits in this leather, it's really nice and deep. Having had this in my pocket now, you can see that it's started to wear a bit on the side and generate its own patina here as well, so around the corners here. So depending on how you use it, how often you use it, this will age and it will weather and get its own characteristics for you. But I got the brown leather version, and this is the gunmetal version of the wallet itself. So I'm just going to put that down there just for a second and get back to some of the measurements. So the measurements for this come in at 4 inches by 3 inches by 0.4 inches deep. Now when you've got this on there, as I say, so you're probably going to add an extra, it's about 5 mil, I don't know what that is in inches, and then it's about 5 mil there, and then I do know on the website it does say that it goes from 0.4 inches to 0.5 inches deep when you've got that on. It's made from aluminium. It's all but this is made differently to some of the other ones that you see. So it's actually constructed from 3 parts. So you have an aluminium face on both sides, and then here you have, this is some sort of resin or composite material which holds the whole thing together, and then it feels as well that the actuator, the button, whatever you'd call this, the release switch, is made from the same material, and it's all held together by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins that go throughout there. It's really nice as well. It's quite light, so when there are no cards in here, the anodized brushed aluminium helps to reduce the weight down quite considerably, and it comes in, I've got this written down, where did I write it down? It comes in at 24 grams, so as far as other similar wallets to these, you know, it fits in exactly with those. As I mentioned, so there are a few different versions that you can get as far as these plates on the front and back are concerned. There are some different, actually not different finishes. So there's the gunmetal, there's a black, there's a grey, I think there's an orange, a blue and a red version as well. But there are several different versions that when you look on the website you'll be able to see, and you get to choose which one it is that you like. Here at the bottom, embossed into that or punched into that, it says grip6.com and then made in the USA on there. And then on the flip side, this is completely flush. There's not actually anything on this side. Now, as far as features, I've kind of cheated because I've probably pressed this several times today, but it is one of these wallets where you hit a button or you hit this that actuates the cards to come out. It says on the website as well, so you can store between 5 to 6 cards in here. Now, that really does depend on the type of card that you have. So if you have some of those cards that have embossed, you know, the old-fashioned ones that they used to push that thing over so you could punch like your checks and that sort of stuff. I mean, that I'm showing my age there, really, aren't I? That's really with those. So at this moment in time, there are 8 cards in here, and they fit in perfectly. Are there 8 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is. Oh no, I took some out. Have I put them in my pocket? Yes, I put them in my pocket. So here we go. Here, this makes this 8 cards. So you can, and these are all blank cards, apart from this one. And this was sent to me from the awesome team at Mobile Wallets. This is one of those NFC cards, so you can put all of your details onto here. Somebody says, "Oh, have you got a business card?" You can tap it on whatever it is, and it can read that. But they're all flat, flush cards, so I can easily fit 8 cards into here. Now, when I've been carrying this myself with my own cards, I have had 6 cards in here. 3 of those are the flat ones, just like these, and 3 of them are the embossed cards. But they do fit in perfectly. Now, if you're lucky enough to be able to fit 8 in here, when you press this, you'll be able to see that they all just push up so that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side, and then you can see them on the opposite side here as well, although I think that was just because I was holding it back like that. So on other cards, these style, now I have had a look at some of these in the past. So I've got the Secret wallet, and then I've also got the Stealth wallet from code 118. The way that these work is when it fans them all out, then you get all 7 cards stacked in front of each other. So this one does change it up ever so slightly in the fact that, as I say, so you get to see, and probably best to see it that way, you can see 4 cards on that side and you can see 4 cards on that side. So depending on which cards are the ones that you use the most, you might want to put these on the outside or maybe have them in the middle so that they're easiest to get to. Now, I think this is the main difference from a lot of these other styles. So if I just bring these 2 back in ever so quickly, you can see on these that the mechanism, the actuator, whatever you'd call it, is here on the bottom. So while you're holding it, you either have to try and do it with your little finger, or you hold it and then do it with a second hand, or do a 2-finger style thing so that you can do it like that. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't need crazy levels of manual dexterity to be able to action these, or even if you're going to do it with a second hand and you do it like that. But it's not, I'm going to say it's not intuitive. It is intuitive. Again, it's not difficult to do. However, when you pick this up and you squeeze it, that whole action there is far more intuitive than that, and it just makes it a lot easier for you to be able to get your cards out. It does make it a lot easier to be able to do this though. Which I like the unruly nature of this sometimes, especially I'm doing it because I'm doing it at an angle, which is the reason why that back card didn't come out. But if I do it like this and you have a bit of a play with it, yeah, you can get them to almost kind of pop out, which I think if you're the first few times that you're using it, or you're having a bit of a mess around, it can take you by surprise. It happened to me whilst I was in the post office waiting to post something, and I was like, damn, all my cards are all over the floor. But you get used to it after a while. I see it as a little eccentricity that this has, but mainly it does it. Sorry, I keep moving away from the microphone, but mainly it does it when they go back down, and then you try to pop them back up again. So it's something that you just need to be careful when you're having a mess around with this wallet. The way that it holds the cards in, so if I just take these out for a second, so here, so if you imagine that this pin, I'm not sure if it is this pin or whether it's something internal behind this, but that acts as a fulcrum. So as this pushes in, this actuates a lever on the inside which lifts up and down, which pushes the cards forward. And then on this end, if you can see that this bit comes out, so on the inside there, it kind of hooks over the tops of your card. So when you push it in, that's the bit, so where the rounded corner here at the top is, that's what holds this, so that as this moves, it's perfectly timed so that the lever goes up to push it forward, and then this mechanism here at the top opens out to stop that from, or at least the part of it that stops it from coming out opens, which allows it to come out. I always, and again, you know, I don't think that this is necessarily a good test of how good a wallet is or not, but I know it's certainly something that you all ask about. The shake test on this, with a reasonably decent shake, you can get them to come out. If I did a really hard shake, then yes, you know, they will all completely come out and they'll spill over the floor. But it's no different, and I think it's important to state that it's no different from either of these two wallets. These certainly do exactly the same. You can shake it and they will come out. I don't think the shake test really is a good thing, but you know, I always do it because people always go, if you shake it, does it come out? In the time that I've used this, I've thrown it on my bed, I've thrown it on my side, I've thrown it on the settee when I come home from work, I've put it in with my keys, I've dropped it, and they've never come out, they've never spilled out or gone everywhere. But if maybe you're the type that likes to throw it like a frisbee to get as much rotation through the air, maybe the centrifugal force might make them spill out. But again, I really don't think it's a fair test on whether that's an actual thing that you do whilst you're carrying a wallet like this. Now, I did mention, so actually, I keep mentioning these other ones, and I keep turning away from the microphone, so I will apologise about that. But we do have these other two, which I thought it'd be useful to compare them to. So the first one on here, so this is the Stealth Wallet from code 118118. When I put them on top of each other, this one is ever so slightly wider, and I think the main reason for that is so this one is made from a single piece of aluminium, so it means that the sides can be just that extra little bit thinner. The sides are also slightly rounded on this, which gives it, remember those iPhones when they started to round it, it made it feel slimmer than it actually is. So when I put it on here, it's maybe a millimeter, no, actually I'll lie on that, it's probably about 2 or 3 millimeters bigger. Plus you've got the bit that the handle, the button, the press actuator sits, doesn't sit flush on the side, so it does make it an ever so slightly little bit wider as far as that's concerned. But as far as the height, it's just a little bit longer as well, probably about maybe 4 mil off the bottom as well. But I think in the grand scheme of things, these two are reasonably close as far as the size is concerned. We also then have the Secret wallet as well. On the width of these and with the other one, they are roughly the same width. Same again here when you put them on top of each other from left to right. This one, the GRIP6 is just ever so slightly wider, and again this comes down to the fact that this is milled from a single piece of aluminium, whereas this has the sides, and they need to make sure that there's enough meat on the pencil so that they can meat on the bone, sorry, so that they can screw these plates into there. The main difference with this one is that when you look at the length, it's probably about 8 or 9 millimeters longer. Again, when this has been in my pocket, I'm not going, oh my god, this wallet's a boat. It really isn't. You don't notice any difference whatsoever when they're in there. In fact, when this is on as well. So I'm just going to put this back in. The way you get this in, so there's a gap there, so you need to make sure that the little handle is depressed so that when you slide it in, it just slides in there. And of course, because I'm doing this on camera, it takes a little bit more of a fiddle to get it in. But when you have these on, you'll see that it is, again, it's just a little bit bigger. But again, you know, when it's in your pocket, it doesn't make a massive difference at all. Now the difference with this jacket is the fact that you can put, so if you did have 8 cards and you wanted to get them in, but there were a few embossed cards in there, you're going to struggle to get them in. So instead, on the outside, you can then keep some additional cards. Now this is the way that I've actually been carrying this. So I've had 4 or 5 cards here in the main section that I can pop out if needs be. But then here on the sides, I've had the card that I use the most, and then I've also had my driving license in there as well. Now it does say that you can fit now up to 13 to 14 cards, so you could probably put a couple of these on this side, and you know there's still plenty of room. And then I've had some cash, which I think, if I remember right, I've just got in my pocket. So with the cash, then there is an additional slot here on the front where I've had the cash as well. If you want to, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from putting another card in there so that you've got the differences with two cards there. But I will say that because the thickness of this leather, it's really nice thick leather, it's about maybe 2 millimeters, so you do get this poking out a little bit from there. So if you're sitting on this, then you're going to get some bend, which I know if you're trying to put these in ATMs, having that warpage on your card, it doesn't like that. But you can fit them in behind there, grab your cash, and then be able to put that in that little slot there, which again, because I'm trying to do this through the camera rather than actually looking at my hand while I do it, then yeah, you can put additional cash in there as well if you carry cash. Really nice wallet, really impressed with this. The whole fact that just moving the actuation from the bottom where you're having to kind of pinky it, just to be able to do that. I gave this to my wife straight away. She pressed it. She knew exactly what she was doing. She never struggled with these. And again, that's the big point with this. These aren't particularly difficult to use, but when you give that to somebody and just go, there you go, just go and grab me whatever, and they take it out of there, it's very, very intuitive to use. And I think it mixes up the formula that these bottom actuated style wallets have done sufficiently so that you know that this is the GRIP6 wallet, and it stands out. It stands differently from these style wallets as well. Now I think GRIP6 have been able to add their own flair to an existing formula. You know, these style wallets, as we've seen, there are a few of them out there, but by adding this leather jacket to it, but also changing the way in which you actuate the mechanism on this, I think out of all of them, this is possibly the most intuitive and easiest way to use. As far as ergonomics, it makes sense when you hold something that you squeeze it and you know it pops out like that. I like the fact that it's a little bit uncontrollable, a little bit wah, that you can get stuff to pop out of it. Personally, I see that as just a nice little, not a nice feature as in it's designed to be a feature, but I like the fact that it's just sometimes a little bit uncontrollable. But I think GRIP6 have definitely fashioned a wallet that is different from the others, whether you choose to go to get the leather jacket or you can have that off, or whether you go for the extra little finger loop on the side. There's plenty of choice that you've got from GRIP6 on how you can fashion this to be the wallet that's best for you. Now I definitely want to say at this point thank you to GRIP6 for getting in touch before. I always say this, but I'm always definitely 100% humbled when, you know, people reach out to me and ask if I'd like to have a look at some of their gear. So yeah, amazing team. Everything's manufactured in the US, the whole team's in the US, and yeah, they're just really good people. So I'd like to say thank you, and of course I'll leave all of the links below so that you can see more from GRIP6, the GRIP6 wallet, and even GRIP6 belts as well. Definitely recommend checking out that content. I left a link earlier, but I'll leave another one here, there, or you know, wherever it's supposed to be. But yes, all of their links will be in the description below. I'll also leave some of my social media links in the description below. And for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Hi. Do one knob jockey. Shoot. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now I think if you're in for